Hello and welcome to Overdrive. I'm Shireen Bhan. Luxury has become far more attainable in India, and over the last few years, car manufacturers have pushed a plethora of products into the entry-level luxury market, a market that's growing fast and strong. Now, Mercedes-Benz has explored every body form within this niche, and they're now ready to close the missing link in their new generation portfolio. Let's take a look at the new compact sedan from Mercedes-Benz.
Now, the past couple of years, Mercedes-Benz has been making some very big promises at the beginning of each year. 2013 was the year of offensive, 14 was the year of excellence. This year, 2015, they've already promised us 15 new car launches, starting with this one. The final member of the MFA family, the CLA class, is finally here in India, and we're in Goa to drive it. I had said when the CLA 45 AMG was launched that Mercedes-Benz might have what we think is the best looking compact sedan. I've had some time to think about it, and my mind really hasn't changed. But is it really that compact? Even though it's got the same wheelbase as the A-Class, it's almost as long as the C-Class, which means it has quite a long rear overhang. But it manages to draw twice the number of eyeballs and cell phone cameras. It doesn't even look all that more subdued than its AMG sibling. The front gets the spectacular diamond grille, but the studs have been blackened. I think they should have gone with the chrome studs. The side profile is most definitely the best angle to get a glimpse at the CLA. 4 frameless doors go well with its coupe-like roofline. Although it's got smaller 17-inch wheels and sits a bit higher than the 45 AMG. The back is where its inspiration from the CLA is most evident, and every bit of it looks gorgeous. The twin exhaust pipes, and of course, the moth wing LED taillights. The CLA manages space in a much better manner than the A-Class. The result is a decent amount of knee room, but headroom, well, let's just say that if you're tall, you're better off in the front, and not all that much. That's the price you pay for its low-slung, sleek design. The high transmission tunnel could have been done away with. It's a front-wheel driven car. As a result, my guess is that the 5th passenger would have to be the least important person in the car. The insides are typically MFA, again very close to the A-Class, but they've got a fair share of upgrades. The infotainment system is now Generation 5, with a much bigger screen, improved navigation, and a Harman Kardon Logic 7 surround sound system. The rather small glass area at the back is made up for by a sunroof, which has a party trick of its own. It shuts automatically when it senses rain. So the CLA, like other NGCC cars or the MFA platform cars, is offered both in a petrol and a diesel variant. So you have a CLA 200 petrol and a CLA 200 CDI diesel. Now the diesel engine is the same 2.1 litre diesel engine that you've seen before, but on this it makes about 135 horsepower. Is it enough? Well, it's enough, but it's not peppy and energetic like the petrol. The petrol, on the other hand, thankfully is not the smaller 1.6 litre engine. This is a 2 litre turbocharged petrol engine, which is not the same as the CLA 45 AMG, but nonetheless this makes about 185 horsepower, which I think just enters the realm of fun to drive. Both the 4-cylinder mills are mated to the familiar 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, which delivers power to the front wheels only. Sorry, but the 4MATIC is exclusive to the 45 AMG. I know that we haven't been fans of this 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox that Mercedes has offered since quite some time now, but I think it has come a long way from what it used to be. The upshifts and downshifts are both now quite quick, so the moment it senses a throttle response, and in response it is quite quick to shift according to the gear that it needs to be in. The response of the Autobox can be quickened by selecting the sports mode, and there's a manual mode too with paddle shifters that keeps the driver involved. Although the 300 Nm of torque from both engines isn't really enough for you to short shift away. Now, Mercedes-Benz completely whitewashed the 2014 Formula 1 Championship. So what have the champions learned? Well, for one, it's not just important to be fast, but it's also important to be fuel efficient, which is what their Formula 1 engines did quite well. Now these engines too boast of quite a high figure. For the diesel, it's about 18 kilometers to the litre, and the petrol is not too far behind at 15, which is, I think, quite impressive. So what else have the champions learned? Well, aerodynamics. Believe this or not, amongst all the series produced cars in the world, the CLA boasts of a coefficient of drag of 0.25, which is the lowest amongst all series produced cars in the world. That is almost sports car territory, and I think the engineers have done a fantastic job with the shape of this car. Not only does it look good, but well, it's functional too. The low drag design also means that the cabin doesn't have to deal with wind resistance noise all that much. So the only noise that you can really tell is from the engine, the grunty diesel and the peppy petrol, and the rolling tires. Mercedes has even roped in the energy recovery system from the W05 hybrid Formula 1 car. Well, it's obviously no KERS or ERS. It's a simple yet effective system where braking energy is harnessed to charge the batteries, another small measure that adds to the overall efficiency. It has also been mandated that the CLA be made as safe as possible, which is why in addition to the raft of standard driver's aids, it also gets 6 airbags as standard. The CLA's ride quality too has been improved. The ride height has increased from the CLA 45 AMG, which I think was one of the biggest problems with the CLA 45 AMG, which is the CLA sedan. I think that is remedied, and well, that's a really good thing. The CLA's wheelbase is longer than its closest competitor, the Audi A3, and that means that it is at an advantage when it comes to the suspension setup. Mercedes has been able to set it up relatively harder for better dynamic abilities while maintaining an exceptional ride quality, which is also helped by the smaller 17-inch wheels. But here we've been spoiled silly by the cornering abilities of the CLA 45 AMG that we don't really care all that much about the ride quality, although I'm sure that the CLA's customers will. The CLA sedan naturally understeers more than the all-wheel drive AMG too, but for most parts, the traction control holds its own. What I like about the CLA sedan is that it's got its own identity. If the new C-Class is like a mini S-Class, the CLA isn't really a mini CLS. It projects a unique character of its own. But how do I sum up the CLA? Well, it reminds me of an adolescent heartthrob, the ones you'd steal glances at and sigh. The CLA 45 AMG was her in her best dress and at her most charming self. The CLA sedan on the other hand is her becoming more approachable and attainable.
Well, the CLA sedan is not going to be pitched against the Audi A3. It's going to be slightly more premium, so expect that to reflect in its pricing as well. The launch expected in just a few days from now. On that note, it is time for us to take a break. When we return, Bert answers all your queries on Auto Selector. Stay on with us. You're watching Overdrive. Welcome back. You're watching Overdrive. It's time now for Auto Selector. Bert joins us as always. Hi, Bert. Well, the first question comes into us from KS Nagarjuna. He writes in from Nellore. He intends to buy a scooter that can be used by his family, including himself. He's 6'3", his wife is 5'6", and his dada is 5'11", also on the heavier side. Which scooter would suit his family best? Mileage and comfort are primary concerns. Between the TVS Jupiter, the Vigo and the Honda Activa, what would you suggest?
Nagarjun, pretty tall order for Selector today, but of the 3 scooters that you've listed out, my suggestion, keep the Vigo and the Activa out of the equation. Just focus on the Jupiter, probably one of the best scooters in that segment you can buy today. Ergonomically, will fit you comfortably, and you can even take your wife as a pillion rider. Both of you all should fit on that scooter comfortably. It's also got great mileage and lots of features on offer. However, there's another choice that's come out in the market very recently. Mahindra has launched the Gusto, and the advantage it offers you is that it's got a height adjustable seat, so you can raise that up to a level that you should be comfortable at. Nonetheless, go down to a showroom, get on that scooter, try it out for yourself and see which one you want. Either the Gusto or the Jupiter though should be your choices.
On to our next question, Bert, and this one comes into us from Delhi. Homi Sharma writes in saying he wants to buy a new car. His budget is 6 to 7 lakh rupees. He shortlisted 2 cars, the petrol Honda Amaze and the Hyundai i20. He drives from Delhi to Chandigarh once a month, and his monthly commute adds up to about 1200 kilometers. Keeping all of that in mind, what would you recommend?
Homi, again, my recommendation, go in for the i20 if you want a petrol car especially. Very refined, good performance, and overall that package is brilliant. Lots of space in the interiors. Of course, not as much space as the Amaze, but nonetheless very spacious car. To boot, the luxury and quality that you get in the i20 is something you would appreciate more than inside the Amaze. So my suggestion, go in with the i20, one of the best cars available in the market today.
Well, with that, it is time for us to wrap up Auto Selector for this week. But remember, if you have questions, we have the answers. Send us your queries to helpdesk@overdrive.co.in. It's time now for us to wrap up everything that's making news in the world of auto.
Datsun has pleasantly surprised the Indian consumers by launching the Go Plus, what they call the compact family wagon, at an introductory price of 3.7 lakh rupees ex-showroom Delhi, going up to 4.61 lakh rupees for the top variant.
Today, we are entering the second stage of this long and very interesting journey in India by launching a second car, the Datsun Go Plus, which, as we showed a bit earlier, is a very versatile, very well-packaged compact family wagon, which will offer our up-and-coming drivers of India the possibility to expand their lives, bring their dreams everywhere.
Hard work pays. And we cannot get results all of a sudden, So what we're doing with the team, we're working hard in terms of network. We already have more than 128 dealers that are selling Datsun, and within the next 2 years, we will have doubled this capacity with 260 dealers covering 95% of India in sales, but also in repair, in maintenance. So this is what we're busy doing for Datsun in terms of network.
The car offers 3 rows of seats and 347 litres of boot space. Available with a 1.2-litre petrol engine that claims 20.62 kilometers to the litre of fuel efficiency. On the safety front, the top variant of the Go Plus will come with a driver's side airbag, and the standard warranty for the car is 2 years and unlimited kilometers, with an option to extend it for another 2 years with unlimited mileage. Hyundai India launched a coffee table book titled Living the Royal Life, authored by none other than Overdrive's consulting editor and jury member Bob Rupani.
The book actually is a showcase to the lifestyles of our royal and noble families and their contribution in the areas of art, culture, and preserving of our heritage, and also, of course, the Maharaja Jodhpur promotion of a sport like polo. So this book actually showcases all this.
The book explores the timeless lifestyles of India's royal and noble families, and to traverse this majestic journey, Bob used the Hyundai Santa Fe. You are likely to consume more fuel by being in a higher gear at low speed or in a low gear while driving at high speed. To avoid doing so, it's important to shift up as early as possible without straining the engine. For most cars, the ideal shift point would be anywhere between 1500 to 2000 RPM.
It's time for us to take a break here on Overdrive, but when we return, a stunt riding spectacle, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back, you're watching Overdrive. Now, a few years ago, stunt riding champion Chris Pfeiffer came down to India and captivated audiences with his motorcycle aerobatics. That started a whole new movement, and Red Bull is hoping to capture that.
Aruna's Gibiaja, or Aras as everyone likes to call him, including his parents, hails from the small settlement of Vilnius, located in the small country of Lithuania. Young Aras has taken the world by storm, emerging as one of the best stunt riders in the world, winning the European Championship in his very first attempt. He also swept individual stunt competitions across Europe, like the SPF and the vertical trick stunt competitions in the UK and the Bulgarian stunt competition. And now he's in India to woo the crowds. But before he goes about enthralling the Indian aficionado, I've managed to catch up with him for a game of football.
So Ras, you come from a country called Lithuania.
Yes.
And I'm sure that, well, a lot of our audiences probably don't even know where their country is. Could you tell me a little bit about Lithuania?
Lithuania, it's a country, small country in Europe. We are pretty close to Poland. We are neighbors with Poland, close to Germany. And it's a small country, it's the size like Sri Lanka, and living just 3.5 million people.
Oh, 3.5 million people, that's actually almost half the population of Bombay city. So Lithuania, like India, in a lot of ways is similar because India has a lot of motorcycles. It's the largest motorcycle market in the world.
Yeah.
But stunt biking isn't as big in India as yet. So it's just coming up right now. We've got a few local stunters, we've got a few local stunting teams. So tell us about how you got about stunting.
Yeah, I began stunting when I was 10 years old with the small scooter, making wheelies, stoppies, everything, and later I buy my first bike in 2006 and I was racing in the racetrack. And later in 2008 I started stunt riding with the big bike. And my first competition was in 2008 in Lithuania, and after this competition I trained hard to win another competition and another, and that's how I grow with stunt riding.
When was it that you moved from stunting in Lithuania to going towards the European Championship?
My first international competition was in 2010 in Austria. So I see all these guys, everybody. I see Chris in 2008. He made first show in my country, so I was motivated by him. For me at this moment he is the best, and not even in riding, in all the disciplines, you know.
Chris actually had come down to India a few years back and we had interviewed him as well, and he had performed in India as well, and I believe you're going to perform in India as well. So tell us, how excited are you to perform in a country like India?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to make my first show because the crowd is amazing. I saw the videos of Chris in YouTube with all of his tours, so I almost know the spots when I'm going to ride, so I can't wait to see my bike in Chandigarh and make first show.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your bike. What bike are you using?
I use Kawasaki 636. It's Ninja 2003-2004 years model, but it's completely custom everything. It's frame, custom brakes, custom tank. I use a Chris Pfeiffer signature steering wheel. Magura made it, and yeah, I love my bike. The engine is so smooth and so much power at the same time. I think the best bike for stunt riding is this bike.
Tell us a little bit about how you practice for your championships. How do you get into shape? How do you then practice your moves? How do you make up and choreograph your moves?
I'm training mostly every day, not less like 5 days per week. If I'm not on the bike, I'm on the gym, running, working, stretches, you know, a lot of things, jumping, playing basketball, football, just for fun, to keep my shape good. And I even training on the frozen lakes at winter time, because we have a -15 right now, -20, so I have special tires with the spikes. And training on the lake, it's amazing feeling.
I believe your stunt bike is not road legal.
No.
So what are the other bikes that you like to ride?
I have a Ducati Hypermotard for the street, 1100S.
Well, that's a bike you can stunt on the street with.
Exactly.
And it's street legal.
I try to avoid stunt on the street. It's a bit dangerous, especially here in India.
Of course.
It's almost impossible to make the wheelies and everything.
Coming from a place like Lithuania, which is again a small country, what is the message you have for budding Indian stunt bikers?
My message is to train hard, because all the people can make everything, you know. If you really want, you really practice, and you can make all the tricks and everything, you know. I know it's a small bike in India, but maybe in the future some of the riders will buy big bikes and going to ride in international competition in Europe or in America.
Okay, well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and we can't wait to see you in action. I believe your first event is going to be in Chandigarh in the next couple of days. We wish you all the best, and we hope you have a great experience in this country.
All right, I hope to see you soon.
Well, if you liked what you just saw, then log on to the Red Bull website to get details of where Aras will be performing next. You don't want to miss that. But before we wrap up Overdrive for this week, here's what else you should be watching out for. Here's your chance to live life in Overdrive on our winter drive. We're driving to Gulmarg to experience the phenomena of driving AMG SUVs on ice, and you can be a part of it. Sign up on Overdrive's website and learn the dark art of drifting on ice. On that note, it is time for us to wrap up Overdrive, but don't forget to tune in to our Overdrive Jury Special. Catch our jury members evaluate the possible winners of the Overdrive Awards. From all of us here, for now, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Stay in touch with us on Facebook and Twitter and on our website.